It's just something I've always wanted to do, as cliche as that sounds. I've always wanted to be in law enforcement. My dad was in the Army, but I also wanted to do something of the public service. I remember even writing on an index card in middle school when it said, "What do you want to be when you grow up?" And I said, a police officer. I'm Investigator Brown, Hillary Brown with the Durham Police Department. I work in our cold case division unit. I'm part of the SACI grant. SACI is the Sexual Assault Kit Initiative. We start to investigate any cold case crimes from 2017 and older. Hi, my name is Investigator Hillary Brown with the Durham Police Department. How are you doing today? We're getting a lot of the lab results back from when the sexual assault kits were initially sent off to the lab. So now that they're being processed, we're getting results back. Then we have to go through and see if it's a case we can investigate and pursue. I'm calling in regards to a cold case that we have back in 1993. Some of these cases are going back to the late 80s, early 1990s. Working through these older cases and finally making sure these survivors know that they're not forgotten and bringing their cases to a close. I know a lot of the survivors tell me that they feel like they don't have to be looking over their shoulder anymore, even though it's 30 years plus. And I think that's big to hear. When I take the badge off and the gun off when I get home, I'm a mother to 2 girls and a boy. I have an amazing husband who, we've known each other forever. We were in the same first grade class. And I grew up in Durham, going to Durham Public Schools, starting in Parkwood Elementary, Githens Middle School, and then Jordan High School. And I was a police explorer even growing up. I think in high school I was a Durham Police Explorer, so I got to come over and get some experience with the Durham Police Department in general. I went down to UNC Wilmington for my undergrad in criminal justice. I love to sing. When I graduated college, I did a mini USO tour for our troops in South Korea with my sister, and went and sang for the troops for the summer of 2005. It was full circle. My dad, who was in the Army and served his time and went to Vietnam, to be able to, again, give back. Nothing we could do, again, to say thank you enough for our troops and for all they do for us in our country. I came back here to NCCU for my master's and then went straight into the police academy in 2009. We only had 3 women in our academy. And I wouldn't say that we were treated any different being a woman. I think we were held to the same standards as the men in my class, which is, I think, was appropriate. And if you're getting us ready for that real street experience, I had great instructors, great classmates that made it fun, as much as fun as you can have through the academy. So after the academy, I worked uniform patrol. I ended up in District 4, which was great. I loved it. And then I went up for our narcotics unit. That was the majority of my career here, was in our narcotics unit. I got into the prescription fraud, and that's when the opioid epidemic was really starting to take shape. So I did a lot of pill fraud. I started with SVU 2019, 2020. Almost 15 years I've worked here. I've worked some really amazing cases. I had a case where the suspect had several cases in more than 5 different states. There was child abuse and neglect going on, and finally here in Durham he was brought to justice, and there were several charges that I took out for child abuse and neglect for these children, and that they weren't being hurt anymore. I think that's a case that will stick with me for for a long time. Knowing that they're not being hurt anymore is, I think, a win for the good guys. I would not be intimidated being a woman. There's a lot of things as a woman you can offer that sometimes the opposite sex can't. Don't let the quote men's profession deter you from wanting to be a police officer. If I could do it, you can do it.